And we're live on LCJ Live. It's Sunday, September 8, 2024. Thanks for being here and welcome to the show. I am Lights Camera Jackson. Happy Sunday. Thanks for being here. And please send in your questions, your comments. I've got Miss Vanna White here because Wheel of Fortune is back tomorrow night with a brand new host, Ryan Seacrest. It's amazing that after 40 years, Pat Sajak retires. We get a new host, one of the best in the biz in Ryan Seacrest. Pat, by the way, last night wins the Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host. Wheel is red hot right now. And Vanna White is back at the puzzle board. They've redone everything. They've redone the set. They've redone the look. I don't think they've redone the wheel, but we'll see it all happen starting tomorrow night in syndication for Wheel of Fortune. Beetlejuice is your number one movie, with $110 million, which is just incredible. It's so much more than I expected. I thought this film was going to do, 60, 70, maybe $80 million. 110 is crazy. Crazy good numbers for Warner Brothers. Crazy good numbers for Michael Keaton. This is double what The Flash opened to last year. Double. Here's Vanna back. Double what The Flash opened to. That was $55 million. Beetlejuice, $110 million. It's incredible. It's a win for Warner Brothers, who needs it. Coming off of a summer that was not great. Furiosa flopped. Horizon Chapter 1 was a disaster. Trap didn't do all that well. And The Watchers didn't do well either. They had a big early part of the year with Dune Part 2, as well as Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, and now Beetlejuice, followed by Joker next month. It's going to be a big fall for Warner Brothers. Transformers 1 and The Wild Robot come out later this month, along with Speak No Evil. I'll preview some of that. Thank you, Fanimator, for the comment. I'll preview some of that coming up here on LCJ Live. This $110 million for Beetlejuice is the second biggest open ever for a movie released in the month of September, only behind It from 2017 with $123 million. Also, the third biggest open of 2024, only behind Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out 2. Stunning. For a film I don't care for. It's really boring for the first half hour, and then as the movie goes on, it picks up a little, but it's not funny. It goes after cheap laughs. The visual tricks from Tim Burton don't really work. I don't think the last section's terrible. Maybe if only the last section was kind of the crazy out there part of the movie and not everything that came before it as well. A lot of it, even though a lot of it's just characters talking. Just talking with this dull dialogue on the front porch or in the house or in another house. Yeah, it's a tough one to get through. Beetlejuice. But diehard fans of the movie seem to like it enough. B+ cinema score. Although I've heard some mixed things from some people who didn't love this sequel compared to the original. Brandon Woodruff, the Horizon Saga is going to, rally. Just give it some time. Costner's playing the long game. That would be interesting, right? He was just at Venice the other night for Chapter 2 screening and talking about making Chapter 3 and how there's more heart and there's more emotion that's going to be put into Chapter 3 now. And look, the Chapter 1 was really bad. I mean, I was shocked at just how I could care less about these characters, could care less about these situations. Oh my gosh. And now here comes Chapter 2, which still doesn't have a release date. Warner still hasn't confirmed yet. I thought they'd take that Christmas to New Year's stretch, but Searchlight comes in and says, we've got the Bob Dylan movie with Timothée Chalamet. That's the movie adults are going to go see from Christmas to New Year's. Pete Crooks, Reagan is the worst movie I've seen in a theater in a long time. Cinematically incompetent. Quaid doesn't age through the entire film. Atrocious. And I completely disagree with you, Pete. I think Reagan's very good. The first hour has some problems, but I think the second half is really strong. It's emotional. I'm a big Dennis Quaid fan, and I think he's excellent. I think Penelope Ann Miller is fantastic as Nancy Reagan. Reagan did well here in its second weekend, dropped to 5.2 million, not bad off of the 7.4 from last weekend. It's at $18.5 million. Could make a run at 30 if these drops continue to be small, at least 25, if not close to $30 million for Reagan. That's not a bad drop. It got to 10 million by last Monday. Everybody who wanted to see it went right away, but some people, maybe they're going twice, maybe they missed it over the holiday weekend last weekend, going to catch up on it now. Then Reagan's doing pretty good. In second, by the way, Deadpool and Wolverine added 7.2. It's at 614. It has now passed Incredibles 2 to become, I believe, the eighth biggest Disney movie. I have to double check that, but it passed Incredibles 2, which is incredible. And the number for that will be number 8. Yes, number 8 for Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's just a few $1 million away from passing Star Wars The Last Jedi to become the 7th biggest Disney movie of all time. Which is huge. Inside Out 2, a few spots up on the chart. Inside Out 2, not in the top 10 this weekend, but added 743,000. It's at 651.9. Pete Crooks says The Substance is a much better film with Quaid. I'm interested to see The Substance. This is the Demi Moore movie with Quaid, Margaret Qualley. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's supposed to be crazy. And it opens in 2 weeks. And we'll see how it is. The Substance. By the way, congratulations to my Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley. Fly, Eagles, fly. From Brazil on Peacock Friday night. What a game. What a performance. Proud to wear 26. And yeah, fly, Eagles, fly. Let's keep it going this season. Let's get back to the Super Bowl, and let's win it this time. Number 4 this weekend, Alien Romulus added 3.9 million. It's at 97.2. Like I wrote the other day, once Alien Romulus hits 100 million, which it will, then it joins Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as the 2 movies from 20th Century Studios this year to cross $100 million. And this will be the first time that 20th Century, as a brand, has had more than one movie over $100 million since 2018, when it was Deadpool 2 and Bohemian Rhapsody. And from 2005 to 2017, 20th Century, at the time known as 20th Century Fox, had at least 4 movies each year from that period of time earn more than $100 million, except for just 2 of those years. So what is that, a 12, 13-year stretch, and only 2 times they did not have at least 4 movies earn $100 million. Now here's the first time in 6, 7 years that 20th Century as a brand has had 2 $100 million plus movies. You have to go back to 20th Century Fox, and you have to go back to 2018. In 2019, the only movie from 20th Century Fox to earn at least $100 million domestically was Ford versus Ferrari, which I still to this day believe was pretty high up on that Oscar ballot voting as far as a selection for Best Picture. It won editing, it won one of the sound categories, it was up for 2 other things, but it wasn't up for acting, directing, or screenplay or any of that. And yet, it still got at least 5% of the votes to get it a Best Picture nomination that year, which means people liked the movie as a whole. That says something. I still believe that Ford versus Ferrari was not dead last in the Oscar voting. In fact, it could have even been in the top 5 that year. I can't wait for Transformers 1 and Wild Robot. Yeah, there's been some screenings. There have been some screenings around for both of those films. High praise for both. High praise as well for Speak No Evil. But horror did not have a good weekend this weekend with The Front Room, which debuted with just 1.7 million. That's the A24 horror film starring Brandy, which opened in more than 2,000 theaters, one of the lowest opens ever for a film in over 2,000 theaters. That's not good. I saw the trailer for it a couple times, was not interested in seeing it. It just looked pretty typical. Also, that film Heretic, with Hugh Grant from A24 that's coming out later this year, also to me looks too typical, and I think it's going to get lost in everything else. And if you were into horror and scary things, then you wanted to go see Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice this weekend. I saw it. There were only about 8 other people in the showing I went to, but theaters have had tons of showings of Beetlejuice. One of the reasons to contribute to that $110 million. Brandon Woodruff, did Romulus do well enough to inspire more Alien movies? That will be interesting. Hitting 100 million is a good accomplishment because the last one did not. Remember, Alien Covenant only did like 74 back in 2017. So this is definitely an improvement. Inflation is a part of that, but I think the reaction is better than Alien Covenant as a whole. So that's why this is making more money. It Ends With Us, added 3.8 million. It's at 141.4 for Sony. It'll try to get to 150. It may struggle a bit over the next couple weeks, or Sony will find a way to get it to $150 million. Next up, number 6, is The Forge, which had a small drop this weekend, just like Reagan. 2.9 million. It's at 20.8. Number 7 is Twisters, which continues to do well even post summer. We're technically in the fall movie season now. Twisters added 2.3. It's at 264.6. Number 8 is Blink Twice, which added 2.1 million. It's at 20.3. Not stellar for Amazon MGM. Number 9 as of now is Despicable Me 4. But I'm waiting for the money on a film called The Greatest of All Time, so that could sneak in. But right now, Despicable Me 4 with 1.8 million. It's at 357.9. Very strong. Just a bit off now from Despicable Me 2 and Minions The Rise of Gru. We're talking $12 million. That's not a lot. And the worldwide total on Despicable Me 4 is really strong. I think it's closing in on $930 million globally. Like I said, The Front Room could be number 10, but that film, The Greatest of All Time, could sneak in. Christian Kozlowski, do we think any more animation movies will join the $1 billion grossing club this year? I got a feeling Moana 2 has a chance, and I'll agree with you. I think Moana 2 has a great chance of earning $1 billion worldwide. You've got a Thanksgiving release. Families are going to want to see something in the theaters over that holiday stretch into Christmas. I think the Lord of the Rings film will do well. I don't necessarily think $1 billion, but I think that'll do well. Mufasa, not fully animated, I don't call it that. That could earn $1 billion for Disney. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which has partial animation, could do very well for Paramount. It could exceed 1 and 2 tremendously. But Moana 2, absolutely. Inside Out 2 is at what, a 1.7 billion, something like that, which is amazing. If that can do 1.7, Moana 2 has a great chance of doing $1 billion. I think a lot of people, depending on things that happen in November when it comes to the future of this country, I think a lot of people are going to look to the movies as escape, which that's what they've always been. The movies have been escape from our crazy lives. And I think when you look at November and you have options like Moana 2, or even I'm thinking Wicked now with its PG rating, I wasn't thinking Wicked would do quite well because Broadway musicals to theaters have been hit and miss over the years. A lot of them have flopped. But Wicked got a PG rating the other day from the MPA, and to me that says, okay, Universal wants families to go. Maybe this brings in some more families alongside Moana 2, and adults will absolutely want to go see Gladiator 2 as well. So you're looking at a possibility of a really strong Thanksgiving and a really strong Christmas, depending on what happens with these movies. Pete, I thought Strange Darling was very mid. I still got to see Strange Darling. I watched a film the other night I wanted to catch up on, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the Guy Ritchie movie from April. I actually think it's pretty good. It's one of Guy Ritchie's better movies. It's done really well on iTunes and at-home viewing. It's one of his better movies in recent years. It's better than Wrath of Man, better than Operation Fortune. He's had a couple others. The Gentleman, it's kind of even with that. It's better than Man from U.N.C.L.E. He's done a lot of these ensemble action crime movies. And I think the second half of Ungentlemanly Warfare is pretty strong. First half is it's got a little attitude, it's got a little of that edge, that the cutesy humor that Guy Ritchie likes. Then he's kind of more laser focused in that second half, and I think that's why it succeeds. So if you haven't seen that yet, check that out. I wanted to catch up on it. I couldn't see it in theaters in April, so I wanted to catch up on The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I saw Beetlejuice the other day. I've seen a film called His Three Daughters, which is on Netflix on the 20th. Oh, I didn't love it. I wanted to. And as far as new movies that come out this week, I have seen The Critic, which is a film starring Ian McKellen. He plays a theater critic almost 100 years ago in London, and I really can't share opinion until tomorrow. But as a film critic, obviously, when there's a movie called The Critic, you really want to see it, and you really want to be excited for it, and hope that it delivers in terms of intensity, the authenticity when it comes to criticism, and how people view critics. So there's some things there. I'm going to share more tomorrow, but look for my thoughts on The Critic across my social media platforms. It opens in limited release on Friday. Speak No Evil is the big movie for this coming week. James McAvoy, Blumhouse, Friday the 13th. It's a perfect storm for something like a $30-40 million open. Maybe that's too high, maybe it's not. It will also be interesting how far Beetlejuice falls for week 2. Did everyone who wanted to see it go right away? And is there going to be repeat business, or could this thing drop down to $30 million, which would be a big drop? We will have to see. Also out is God's Not Dead and God We Trust. New God's Not Dead movie. The first one did pretty well. What, about a decade ago, I think? I think it was 2014, something like that, for the last God's Not Dead film, or the original. The Killer's Game, which I think I'll be seeing this week, is the new action movie from Lionsgate with Dave Bautista. Lionsgate's in a tough spot lately. The Crow flopped, Borderlands flopped, and they moved Flight Risk to January. That's the Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg movie. They took that out of October, pushed it to January. They've got Megalopolis later this month. All the controversy, speaking of critics, surrounding those fake quotes in that trailer. They've got the Wonder spinoff White Bird, which they've delayed so many times. Supposedly it's finally coming out October 4th. So Lionsgate's in an interesting position this fall. And I don't know if the Killer's Game's going to make a lot of money. It's like a John Wick knockoff. They've also got a film called Never Let Go with Halle Berry, which looks like a Quiet Place knockoff. So Lionsgate's in a tough spot this fall, and we'll see. Maybe it only makes a couple $1 million. And then you have My Old Ass, which is the new Aubrey Plaza dramedy from Amazon, which opens in select theaters Friday, goes nationwide on the 27th. I'm looking forward to this because it has a unique premise, and I just hope it works. A lot of these movies, sometimes you have a premise and you think it's going to be great, and then it just fails over and over again as the rest of the movie goes on. That happened with a film called The Greatest Hits earlier this year, which I wanted to love, but it made bad decision after bad decision with the unique premise. It's on Hulu. I wish that film was strong. I have not seen Megalopolis yet. I'm intrigued, but we'll see how it is. Usher has a concert movie that's out Friday as well. There's a lot of movies this week. Usher has a concert film called Rendezvous in Paris. Is it going to have a $21 million open like the Beyonce concert doc? Probably not. Only because I think the concert doc phenomenon that Taylor Swift captured and Beyonce had as well at the end of last year, I don't think it's quite as there as it was before, but we'll see. Usher fans may want to see this right away. He's Super Bowl halftime performer. He had some #1 hits throughout my life. That cameo in Hustlers. So yeah, we'll see how the Usher concert movie does. And starting tonight on Fox is the animated comedy series Universal Basic Guys, which is right after football tonight on Fox. I've seen the first episode. It is pretty funny. You can check that out tonight as a new film joins the animation domination lineup. What pop artist do you think deserves the next concert film with a wide release? Cher. I think Cher would bring in people of all ages because her fan base is many generations. Oscar-winning actress, superstar, a farewell kind of concert movie from Cher. I think that would be pretty strong at the box office. But I said this last year, and a year has gone by. Maybe she's not interested in doing it, but I think Cher would be the perfect choice for the next concert movie. Thanks for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Good luck in your football knockout pools if you're in them. When we're back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, it's Emmy Sunday. We'll look through the categories, do some predictions for the Primetime Emmy Awards. We'll also see how Speak No Evil, The Killer's Game, God's Not Dead, and the Usher movie do at the box office. And we will preview Transformers 1 coming into theaters. How will it do at the box office? Wild Robot for the rest of September, as well as Megalopolis and more. As always, go to lights-camera-jackson.com, Twitter X at LCJ Reviews, subscribe to this YouTube channel, Instagram at lightscamjackson, and more LCJ Q&A podcast episodes, lcj.podbean.com. Check out my conversation with my man Tom Looney from Benny vs. the Penny sports show on Peacock. Check out that Q&A interview at lcj.podbean.com. More at animationscoop.com as well. Some exciting interviews on the way. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Appreciate it, and fly, Eagles, fly this entire NFL season. And I'm looking forward to Wheel tomorrow night. I think Seacrest will do a great job, and Vanna White as well. And we'll see you next Sunday for Emmy Day on LCJ Live. Bye-bye.